Straw Hut Media.
Welcome, victims, to the 99th episode of Release Date Rewind. Hello, listeners near and far. It's officially summer, so it's hot, sweaty, and waxy. And queer. So queer. Happy Pride, everybody. I hope you've been seeing rainbows everywhere. I'm your host, Mark J. Parker, a film lover and filmmaker. And this is a podcast that celebrates the special anniversaries of old movies we love. Thanks so much for checking this out on your favorite app or site or watching on YouTube. This show is part of the Straw Hut Media Network and the You Run Podcast Network, so check out their sites to see other great entertaining pods after you finish this one. Where I live in New England just had a major heat wave to ring in the new season, so it's only natural that I finally release this very fun episode honoring the 20-year-old House of Wax remake that came out in 2005. So grab your friends, wear your white tanks and juicy tracksuits, and if you'd like to watch or rewatch this movie before listening, it's sadly not streaming anywhere at the moment in the US, but you can borrow it from your library or rent it or find it on some random site somewhere. Shh. I just so happen to have it on DVD because, look at that, I'm a real fan. Alright, twins, let's not go to a football game and go frolic in a fake town instead, because it's time to rewind. Temperatures are rising. Summer is here. We got our tank tops on.
Yeah.
I've got senioritis 90210 makeshift tank top on because I have a guest on who 20 years ago when this movie came out that we saw together, we were getting ready to graduate high school.
We had such senioritis.
Oh my God. We were about to go to prom. We were about to have her birthday, right? It's her birthday month.
Yes.
And then a couple weeks after that, graduation. And we walked down the graduation aisle together. Which is really kind of crazy because, I mean, our letters aren't that close to each other, but it's just the way it matched
Parker
up.
and Sheehan for the people listening at home.
Parker and Sheehan. That is right. We have Kit Sheehan back on the show. We have Kit is here. She has returned.
Hey,
She's got her tank on. We got another May horror movie to discuss. And
I have a ribbed tank that we delicately called wife beaters back in the day. And that's just some of the beginning of the problematic language you're going to hear from 2000.
We were just talking about mean words back then and how it was normal and cool and how everyone showed their affection aggressively and violently, right?
And
bullying affection.
Yes.
Yeah. Now it's more like we were saying, you either add like a bitch to it to make it like fun or like a yes, you know. So, you know, we
celebrate the things that we would have used to, like, it used to be a teasing, like a shameful thing. And now it's like I'm fat and I'm hot as hell. Like, get over here with your fat ass. I love you.
Exactly. What do you think, Kit? Why did we walk down the aisle together? I forget. Was it a boy line and a girl line?
There was a boy line and a girl line.
That is so stupid.
As well, there must be. To determine the paths that we were walking into in life. And we had like 2 rehearsals in the days leading up to it, but people would be missing for each, like there would be someone was missing in this one. So you walked, you never knew who it was going to be.
Someone was still taking a test or something.
Someone was taking a test. Someone was maybe not going to someone was just missing to graduate. Yeah. Someone was missing. Someone was Laura Palmer. It's very sad. No, thank God that wasn't.
Luckily, no,
not our experience. But and then on our actual graduation day, when everyone who was there was gonna be there, I remember like 2. I was like counting like 3 beforehand. I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna be with Mark.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be us.
I remember you were on my right and we made eye contact and we were like getting closer and I feel like we both were probably saying, holy shit, oh my God, right?
Yes!
It was so cool.
And then we kissed. We kissed down the aisle.
I feel like, am I making this up or did you ask me? Did you say like, do you want to kiss?
I thought you asked me to kiss. One of us. It was on our minds. We were like,
Yeah.
because no one else was gonna, and we
Maybe
were,
I
and we
did.
were
I
the
can't
ones who.
remember.
I thought you did,
Oh,
but I was absolutely,
it was just
absolutely. We're
right. It
coming
was like,
down the
okay, we
aisle
have
together.
to. We
We're
have to.
graduating, and we
Oh.
were also the two. Much though Mrs. Haynes
Mm,
tried to keep a good girl down,
mm.
but we were the two who had done all eight
It
of
was
the plays and
perfect.
musicals.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Mm-hmm. It was so perfect.
we
Oh
were
my God.
Dawson and Joey.
We
We
were.
had yes,
Speaking of Chad Michael Murray being on Dawson's Creek before
love it.
this, right? Connection, which
Yes,
was an episode you were on. Everybody, you might remember, of course, Kit's been on a bunch. Thank you very much. But her
thank
last
you.
episode was with our Hometown Loves group, Little
Yes,
Women, a
Little
very different movie.
Women.
She's got range, everybody. She's got period drama. She's got trashy
She
horror.
can yap about
Oh,
anything.
anything. Yeah. But like, okay, let's truly rewind because what
Yes,
a time in our lives. Not only just this movie and our great spoof, House of Sax, which do I have your
yes.
permission, Kit? If I can find
Please.
it, can I post a clip of you in
Oh,
the
please.
wig? Right?
I wanna personally also, like, apologize to Paris Hilton. I feel
Oh,
like and not just me personally, but I
yeah,
feel like
all
we
of us.
as a society were really shitty to
We
her.
were awful, yeah. But you know what? She ran with it and she is actually so smart and so iconic
So
that
smart.
she's like, yeah, the marketing of this movie says, "See
See
Paris
Paris die.
die May 6th," right? It
And
was
she
all
had to have
about
but how
showing her death.
scary, and she was like, "I'm gonna do it, like,
Mhm.
I'm taking this," but it has like, when because so we watched the behind the scenes was the House of Wax MTV,
House
which
of
I
yeah,
remember
I remember
from
it.
when we were kids. Yeah, I
Mhm.
remember
I remember
watching it
that
and getting
music, and
excited.
it was the 4 of them. They really focused on, like, the 4 out of the 6, you will call them
Yeah.
students. They're not really teens, but, you know, they really focused on the
Yeah,
4. I
yeah.
remember that with Joel Silver, the producer, and we're making House of Wax, right? I
Joel
wasn't able to
Silver
rewatch
was
any
it
before
was
this, but I
so
remembered I was so
great.
excited by that and so brilliant to do a
Yeah.
behind the scenes look. I mean, that was back when MTV loved that kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
Like True Life and like,
Making
Fanatic?
the video.
Making the
Yeah,
video.
Fanatic was
Yep.
one,
Mhm.
and then also Made, I mean, was kind of like
Made,
that
which we
too.
auditioned for,
I
right? Weren't
know.
you there with me?
I actually did not
Oh,
audition
you
for
you weren't
Made.
there with
I
us?
wasn't there. You and Cassie did it, I
I
remember.
swore you were there. All right.
No, and I
What would you have, like, wanted to be made into back
so
then, do you think?
I the one thing I owe and it would have been so different,
Mm.
and I would have been really bad. I would have wanted to be made into a surfer.
Oh, I love that. I
I
love
was
it.
super into, like, the billabong and, like, that I would have been like, "Yeah, I want"
Love
and I'm
that.
not strong, and it's specific. MTV also had, like, a girls surfing competition around the
Oh,
time we were in high school in
probably because of
summer.
Blue Crush,
Yes,
right?
100%. Ugh, Blue Crush, also
Wow.
another movie we saw in 35
Mhm.
millimeter.
I'll never
My
forget.
contact was so dry that I had to take it out and put it in my mouth. Is that what you
I'll never
remember?
forget. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'll never forget. I'm
And
like,
just looking over and being
"Cruel
like, do you
summer."
wanna leave? We could always maybe try
Yes.
to come back." And you're like,
No, we need
"No."
to see if she makes the competition. At the time, and still to this day, because I have not toned, I my shoulders are so weak and narrow that, like, backpack straps slide down all the time like I'm friggin' Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, you're like,
"Oh,
"Oh,
no.
sorry, sir."
Sorry, my backpack doesn't fit because I have a baby shoulders." So I remember being like, "Oh, I could never hack it as a surfer, but god, I wanted to so much." So
Have
that's
you
what I
ever
would
taken a surfing lesson?
no, I have not.
Wow,
And
I've
now I'm
taken
afraid of
one.
sharks as well.
Oh, well, sharks
Ooh,
are terrifying. Speaking of
yes,
sharks, this same director, I know I'm gonna butcher his name. I even, like, did the, like, Google
yes.
pronunciation. Jaume, I believe it is, Colette Sarah. He did The Shallows with Blake Lively. Did you ever see The
I
Shallows?
did not see, but I know of and scared the shit out
We
of
we
me.
know
A
that Blake is
snowman.
problematic, but man, The Shallows is terrifying. I mean, sharks
Uh-huh.
I mean, even the worst shark movie, I will be terrified by, but
Yes.
yeah, so I am right there with you, very scared of
Yes.
sharks,
Sharks are
but
very
I've
frightening.
done at least one surfing lesson, I think, just one, I think, and it is so exhausting.
Yeah.
No wonder male, female, any gender surfers, no wonder they are so friggin' hot because
So
they are
tough.
so friggin' tough. And
Yes.
I was so exhausted, I was just, like, laughing in the water, like, barely breathing, like, I was just so, like, "This is crazy." Like, my arms were spaghetti straps. But
Yes!
I wasn't terrible, I have to tell you all.
That's
I got on the board a
amazing.
couple times, and I was not awful. So,
Awesome.
maybe next time when I visit you, maybe
Bit
I
by
don't
bit.
I don't know, where's a good beach to go
We should.
surfing,
Well,
right?
I know that they do well, and but they would accept us. I was like, I know that they do. I've been on Santa Monica where they've had
Yes.
the little guys. There's like a bunch, it'll be like little kids surfing. So
Oh,
like a bunch of little busha just like descend to the water in their wetsuits and like splash around in the wave shallows.
oh
So I
god.
know that there's a possibility of getting. I don't know if they teach adults that, but I would hope. I think
I
Santa
would hope.
Monica they
Yeah.
would do. It
Yeah.
would be so
Yeah,
cool.
but next time I visit you, that'd
Next
be
time
fun. I
we
did
should do
just go
it.
see a psychic, and she did say, "I see California in your future. Someone's gonna open their door and let you in." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Maybe it's Kit. I'm seeing
Maybe
her in
it's
a couple
me.
days.
Yes.
Visit and sleep in the sound booth in
I
the
know.
voice
I was
booth."
like, our door is always open. Does she mean to live on the ground? Like, we don't have an air mattress. I wonder if one could
Oh
fit.
god, that's so fun. I know, I don't have one either in this new
You could
place.
sleep like a vampire upright in our in the chairs.
Speaking of dark and dungeon, I think it's time.
Yes,
All right,
it's
everybody.
time.
We are going back. Let's rewind 20 years to almost graduation. May 2005, everybody. House of Wax. This remake came out May 6th, 2005. Just celebrated 20 years. Kit, I'm going to tell you what was going on in life. You
Please.
tell me what you were thinking, how this makes you feel. This is all popular stuff that was happening, okay? So, I have for news, we were about to go to prom. So there you go. That was
Yes.
big news.
Huge
And
news.
can I just tell you, okay, there was a lot going on TV, but I always associate this with our senior prom. Who did you go with?
Jason Buffington.
Jason Buffington.
Bless
Oh
his
my
heart.
God. Hi,
Jason.
Jason. You're
I
definitely
know
not
Jason.
listening. If you
Jason,
are,
big listener. Jason is one of the friends that I've only had on Facebook, and so now I should stalk him.
you
I should
should. You should be
see.
like, hey, I mentioned you today, right?
Yeah,
And speaking of Jason,
he would be
Jason
down.
saw the Texas Chainsaw remake with us. And I'm
Yes.
rewatching this movie now, 20 years later. I'm like, man, a Texas Chainsaw remake was all over this. Like they saw
All
that.
over
They
it.
were so inspired. And obviously going back to the tank tops, right?
They were like, "We will raise
They were
you
like,
another dirty
yep.
leg rib tank."
It really is amazing when you think of it. Like 2003, between Texas Chainsaw, Wrong Turn, The Ring. There's even more. Oh no, I'm sorry. Was The Ring 2002? I think it was 2002. Yeah. But just those early 2000s.
Yes,
really,
fall of 2002.
Yes,
right?
exactly. We were sophomores. Yeah.
Because I remember it was in Mrs. Lipinski's history class, and Lori, I want to say
Lori Carter.
Yes, who wore the long black trench often. Lori Carter was like,
I'm
I
right
was
there
so
with you.
scared. Yes, hell yes. And she goes, she was talking to someone else. She was like, I was so scared I cried.
And we were like, what was that?
And I wasn't sure. I was like, I nearly cried too, like at the part with the horse. So I was like, it was around the time where I was like, oh, you can admit stuff like that. Like,
right. So I was 18 at this time. You were 17.
I was 17.
We're about to go to prom, and going back to prom, I'll never forget the night before prom. I believe it was somewhere right around May 20th. So it was coming up. The second season finale of the OC, where Misha Barton shoots the guy, and Imogen Heap's exactly sing it. Don't sue us, Imogen. Hide and Seek was that was like and I was actually researching this the other day on one of my rabbit holes where I'm like, I really don't have time to do this, but I have to make time, and I'll just push the real stuff to the next day. That's where I am right now. But Hide and Seek was the first time anyone had heard that song. Like they somehow like got the rights to it, put that song in there, and then the next day, or maybe that same day, it was also released as a single. But the show, so the power of the OC, right?
You're gonna kill him.
What you say? But I just remember that was big. And then the next day we went to prom. Everyone's talking about the OC. I remember Liz Nicholson was like, oh my God, this song was so good. She had it like in her phone immediately. Or whatever, or I guess on CD. I don't even know what we were listening to.
I think we must have had it on CD
iPods,
because we did have iPods. So it was, but we would make mix CDs. But we did also have things that would like your iPod could hook up to like an aux cord, so you could play just the iPod. And we had it. We played it all the way down to Dylan's parents' beach house the night
Yep.
of prom.
Absolutely. You
And
know
then
it.
you made the
And then I
music
made this
video.
video. Maybe I gotta find. I know it's somewhere on a big, massive hard drive. It's somewhere at the house because like half of my stuff is here, half of my stuff is at the house, and I gotta find it. But House of Sax is on there.
Oh,
Oh
so
my God,
sad.
that video. But anyway, so I just had to really shout out. The
Yes.
OC was about to rock everyone's
Can
world.
I just also
Tell
say,
me.
and I don't think she will listen to it, but love you, girl. Lisa Robertson, my acting coach. What's
Oh, hi,
up?
Lisa. She's great. I've watched
She
videos.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
She and here's a little example of how great she is. She was Kiki's coach. She was the acting coach for Kirsten. I like my white wine and I like my Chardonnay and I am not dying alone. I will not die
Wow.
alone. I was like, I used to say that line in high school in the hallways all the time. I would be like, yeah, well, you know what? Slam my locker shut. I like my Chardonnay and I will not die alone.
Wow, what a line. What a great
Yes.
line. Oh my God.
Miss the other day in class, she was like, she was just having a moment of not
Yeah.
remembering something. She was like, you were a kid in the 90s. And I was like, or she was like, you were a teenager in the 90s. And I was like, no. I
Not
was like,
yet.
here's how you can remember is that my senior prom, we were all, what you say? That's how I'm what you say years old.
We'll be right back.
You guys gonna do it tonight or what?
Stop!
The hell is that?
What does he want?
Can we help you?
Well, maybe we're on his property.
Hey man, turn your lights off.
That guy was a freak.
So let's get out of here. All right, let's go.
Come on, he's gone.
I was Dalton. I was this Dalton character in this movie
Yes!
with the video camera. That
Yes!
was me, right?
You were such the Dalton, except
Yeah.
Dalton, you never creeped on anybody. You
No.
never zoomed in
And
on
I didn't
people
wear
you had
too
a
many
crush
hats.
on and like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was
Only
like,
a hat,
I definitely had an Ashton Kutcher like
trucker hat.
punked
Everyone had
trucker
a
hat,
fun
you know.
Dutch.
Yeah, everyone had one, right?
Yeah,
And I would wear it
everybody had one.
occasionally, sort of like as a half joke. Like, this isn't really me. I'm just kind of wearing what
I'm just look at me wearing a hat,
just
like
doing
a
what
guy
they're
with a
doing in
video
House of
camera.
Wax. Yeah, exactly. With TV, I mentioned the OC, other shows that were coming to an end, like series finale.
Ooh.
Judging Amy, Third Watch, Everybody Loves Raymond. So shows we weren't really caring much about, but like big shows of
End
that
of an era.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Upcoming later in May, Brittany and Kevin Federline were about to debut their reality show, Chaotic.
That's
Do you remember?
right. This was I worked as a lifeguard this summer.
Mm,
And I remember,
Wow.
this girl, Nicole Kasner, right? Ryan Kasner?
Oh, probably.
It was so funny. She just like was zoning out eating chips and she goes, "Will it last?" And then looked at us. And then she was like, I'm so sorry I actually really liked Nicole Kasner. She was weird as hell. She was like, she goes, that was so weird. I think I was thinking about Brittany and Kevin. She's just like eating chips. Will it last?
Will it last? Fast
No.
forward, no.
No, it will not.
No, we all kind of knew it. Tom Cruise was about to jump on Oprah's couch right around your birthday.
Early.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were together. He and Katie Holmes had just started dating in April of 2005, I believe. She was about to come out with Batman Begins, which he was all over. So yeah, he was jumping on Oprah's couch and about to do that whole tirade against Brooke Shields on the Today Show with Matt Lauer.
Yeah, and then he
That
had
was
to
this
fucking
era.
apologize. And then he
Mhm.
invited her to his wedding.
Oh my God, that's right. And did she go? I think she went.
Go. She did go.
She
You know who
went.
didn't go? Shelly Miscavige. Shelly Miscavige? Miscavige.
Either way,
Yeah.
Shelly, let's say her name in any way possible.
Say her
because
name and fucking find her.
we still have not found her. Scary.
Yeah,
Scary.
I know. I'm getting really controversial and saying
Oh, no.
Scientology, the
No.
cult of Scientology.
This is not a pro Scientology pod.
It's
I
not,
do,
and I'm
I do
tired of
enjoy
people
Tom Cruise
saying it is.
movies, but yeah, thank you. We need to set the record straight.
Yes.
You all want to talk shit? I am not a fan
Yeah.
of Scientology.
No, just because I like Juliette Lewis, Beck, and Elizabeth Moss, and Giovanni Ribisi
Mhm.
does not mean they were
Is
all
Juliet
raised in
still
it.
a Scientologist?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think she is out against it. I
But
accept you as you are, but I don't. I think that the Church of Scientology is
Right.
an evil organization.
and Juliet,
But your beliefs are fine.
maybe like spend some time looking for Shelly today.
Yeah,
Okay.
find Shelley. They
Yellow
know where
Jackets
she is. They
season
just can't get
4
her.
is all about Shelley
Yes.
Miscavige.
Find Shelley.
She's in the woods. She's actually behind the antlers. I don't know. I haven't seen the season at all, so I don't
I
know.
haven't seen this new season either. Maybe they do find.
I would love that. I would love that. Anyway,
She's actually Melanie Lewinsky's husband. Okay, that's enough.
American Idol season 3 was about to come to an end with the winner Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood? One of the last. I feel like
One of the last true
one of the last
idols.
stars to
Yes.
come.
On the music side, perfect segue. The number one song, which is so appropriate and such a reason why I put this song in our spoof, House of Sax,
House
Fifth
of
Avenue.
Sax. Yes.
Holla Back Girl by Gwen Stefani was the number one song, which I just feel like was such an anthem of our senior year. I
Yes.
remember our bestie, Sarah Medical, and I
Yes.
shouting the lyrics to that in the hallway. Like, I think it was at the end of the day, like school was out, and we're right next to each other. It's not like we're shouting down the hall. We're right next to each other. And we're just
Shouting
singing
into the hall.
This smash it. And like a teacher had to slam her door shut because we were so loud. And we were like, oh. But it was so noisy. You remember
After
those
school hours,
yeah, like literally the bell had rung, like people were
everyone
zapping,
shouting,
right? And so
yeah.
we were just like, this smash it.
Th-
And that
smash it.
slam.
Wow.
And looking at Sarah like, oh, okay, we gotta go, which I feel like is very
Run.
us. Other songs in the top 10, Candy Shop from 50 Cent.
Yes.
Remember that one? And the absolute instant classic, Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson. I mean, that was in the top 10. That I remember jamming out to that on our senior trip the month
So
prior.
good.
I mean,
Yes.
that was like an anthem. So we had like cool songs going on.
Yeah.
On the movie side, this came out the same day as two very big movies. One was very big budget, one was very big awards. Big budget, the number one movie of the weekend, House of Wax, came in number 2. Number 1 was Kingdom of Heaven. Remember that one with Orlando Bloom?
I do remember.
I never
that
saw
one. Who made
Ridley Scott, I believe.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Ash has seen it, and I think, or isn't there like a director's cut for that one?
Probably another hour.
I feel like it might be an hour that gives it context or something but I have not ever seen that one.
More of Orlando's hair, like in the wind on a horse, maybe,
Yeah, and
cool.
it's the Crusades, right?
I think so. Yeah. He's got his like armor on, So that was the number one movie, big budget, Ridley Scott, but a little lower on the list. I think it opened at like number 4 was Crash, a very polarizing Best Picture winner. Crash had just come out the same day as House of Wax. Crash was the big upset to I was about to say Broke Down Palace. I always get them confused. I don't know why. I'm sorry, everyone. I will always call Broke Down Palace Brokeback
Mountain.
and vice versa.
Vice versa.
Brokeback Mountain was the big one that everyone was thinking would win. And I remember Jack Nicholson said, whoa, like, Crash,
it's Crash.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, what was the 2004 Best Picture? I think it was $1 Million Baby, I believe.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yes.
So yeah, maybe we were kind of thinking like,
or
and
it
also
might have been like Brokeback Mountain. It might have been how do we not give it to the gay
gays.
one?
Mhm.
We'll give it to the racism one.
Yes.
No one can say we
it's
hate
sort of
gay
like
people if we give it to the racism one.
Right. Yeah, it's sort of like which like minority group do we give it to?
Can we
like
give it to without offending?
either way, we're going to be liberal enough.
Back on us,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it is funny because it did not age the way that Brokeback Mountain does.
Right.
Brokeback Mountain is the perfect is a weird like word, but it's it is essentially to me like it's a perfect film.
Mhm. I haven't seen it in years. I think it's coming back to theaters for its 20th later this year.
Because I saw it, I've seen it, like we've done it. It's been like assigned and seen script analysis classes and stuff, and it is just everything about that movie. The acting is phenomenal. The script is perfect.
Wow.
The shots are gorgeous.
Beautiful. Wow.
And
wow,
it's
wow.
so distinctly, it is at once about how everyone in America is trapped in this colonizing patriarchal. And it's also, at the very same time, it's about these really two specific men who are in love, these two people that we follow in their lives.
Yeah.
So it's so micro and macro. It's an amazing, incredible film that has stood a test of time, like holds up the way.
Whereas Crash, like you said, lots of good work going on, heart in the right place, but it kind of almost instantly a year later felt dated. Like it is so of its specific time, that it kind of immediately just feels not like a classic. You can't rewatch that, over and over again.
And it's
going back to Scientology, I'm pretty sure, I think what's his name? Paul Haggis, writer director of
Yes.
Crash, is a Scientologist, right? I think so.
But
What? Or
he
not anymore.
not anymore.
Not
And
anymore.
he's one of the one. It's funny. I was actually gonna mention him because he was like, I thought to myself, what's the harm almost? Like, okay, this is kind of bonkers, but a lot of religions are. And if my family's happy. And he was like, and then my daughter came out to me. And then she came out to her school, and the school told me they wanted to send her away because you cannot be gay in Scientology. It's an
Right. I
aberration,
do
and they'll
remember
get it.
hearing this.
Yeah, they'll get it out of you. And he was like, upon hearing that they wanted to send my daughter away to a school where they were gonna conversion therapy her, he was
Yeah.
like, I was like, no, this
Yeah.
is bullshit. And they were like, if this is bullshit, then you can't have access to all of this, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, then I'm going to tell everyone. When he saw that they were going to actively harm his child. And then he realized,
Terrible.
oh, I've been kind of putting blinders onto that and I can't.
Yep.
So fuck yeah for him. Like,
Wow.
hell yeah, bro. Like,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Then you know what? Crash is a great movie.
Crash
We
is
take
a
it back.
great movie. You guys don't understand.
You see anybody?
No, nobody.
Hello?
I don't think anyone's here.
We saw this movie together in the theater.
Yes, we did.
So tell me
AMC
about
Lowe's.
what you remember of that time at all. Do you remember seeing it on the big screen? What do you think? Who else were we with? Was it you, me, and Lauren, or
It
just
must
you and
have
me?
been someone else, not must have been someone else.
Yeah.
I can't remember. There
Can't
are ones
remember.
that I remember, like I specifically remember Dreamcatcher, just you and I
Oh
saw.
my God. Ooh, gnarly
Yes.
movie. Yeah.
So gnarly.
Ooh, yeah.
Crazy, wild.
Uh-huh.
I think it was just you and me for like The Exorcist New Beginnings or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And
Definitely.
remember,
When the
that was
film
real.
like
Yeah, that was 35
burned.
millimeter. It
Yeah.
got caught,
Yeah.
right? If our listeners are
I
familiar
love that
with
we
the
are now on the
beginning.
millimeter train.
Yeah.
Now we understand because everyone,
get it now.
just so everyone knows, because we weren't recording them, we were trying to figure out. We were talking about Sinners and 70 millimeter, and
Yeah.
we were trying to figure out like what's like regular millimeter. So
Yeah, what's the
35 is the
millimeter we
most
used to watch when we were kids?
common back in the day.
Most
Yeah.
common. So it must
yep.
have been 35 because it was the projector. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're film
Totally.
geniuses now.
That was a moment. That was more memorable than that movie. I can't tell you
Yes.
what happened in the movie, but I know
All I remember
the screen
is
burned up.
exactly. Yeah, who else do we see this
And where
with?
do you think we were? Do you think we were at Lowe's Cherry Hill or
I feel like
Morristown?
it was Lowe's Cherry Hill.
I think so too.
That's just, but I could be conflating
Maybe
because
we went
that's
to
where we
TGI
saw.
Fridays.
Yes, hell yeah, we would have. We would
Yeah.
have. I
Right?
tell you that.
Might as well start making the plans for the spoof, right?
I know. Oh my God. And we did almost instantly. House of Sax the House of Sax itself as a film is incredible.
Oh,
But like, where were we going with? We just like literally were like, what rhymes with wax? Sax,
Mhm.
Fifth Avenue.
seriously. We were just like
baby.
snacks. And it's like, so you're playing Paris in a blonde wig and
Yeah.
the Spam-A-Lot slippers I got from Broadway. You were wearing slippers.
Yeah.
And you're like, A Simple Life. The Simple Life was a big
Life was
deal.
out.
What a great show. And I just remembered I still need to watch they did like an encore, a reboot for Peacock just a couple
Oh
of
my
months ago.
God.
I need to watch it.
Yes.
But they were iconic, Paris and Nicole. And so our idea for House of Sax, I'll post at least clips of it, everybody, if I
You
hopefully
have
can
to.
find it.
Yes.
But I mean, Kit's chase, her death scene was so much fun in my convertible. Oh my God.
Yes. I
But-
do have to say, like, I had written down too. So we have done many, many spoofs
Oh,
because,
yes.
and you and I, not spoofs, are actors and have
Mhm.
dedicated our lives to making movies.
Oh,
like
yeah.
we
Oh, yeah.
continue to do so. So let
Mhm.
me tell you, like, so we took it very seriously back in the day, and like we can smile and giggle now, and like we smiled and giggled and laughed
Oh,
our asses off the
plenty.
entire time.
Uh-huh.
But there was like a seriousness in it too that I must say, I thought I was like the range that I thought Kit Sheehan was showing by playing Paris Hilton instead of the final girl. I was like,
Oh.
no, this time I'm going to play the blonde damsel who's scared and she's not smart and she doesn't know. I'm like, I'm going to show the world that I
Oh
can
my
be
God.
pretty.
I love that. Oh my God.
I
don't wanna
know,
hear that.
silly. Because Alicia, also, because how dare I malign Alicia Cuthbert, who's
oh,
one of the most beautiful
She
faces
is so
I've ever laid
stinking
eyes
hot,
on.
right? She is
Holy
such a
mother
hottie.
of God.
Even
I
in the
want-
oversized tank, and like I'm pretty sure
Especially
it's a
in the
wig.
oversized
I'm
tank.
pretty sure she's wearing a wig,
It
right?
has to
I
be,
think
'cause
she was
looks
blonde.
wildly different with her regular blonde girl next
Right.
door hair, which is
Yeah.
still very stunning. But it's funny, Ash and I were talking. He was like, "I loved her in that blonde." He's like, "I think
The
she
girl
looks
next
great
door.
as blonde." Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, and of course, every person who's ever had a boner or felt anything for a girl got felt it during The Girl Next Door.
Right.
Like,
She
are
was
you
like
kidding?
she was like Marilyn Monroe, like for
Yes.
2004, like
Yes.
hot,
Ugh,
like oh man, what a babe. Yeah.
beautiful.
So it was funny to have
Total
her
babe.
sort of dressed down a little bit to be the
Which I
final
found her even
girl.
hotter. I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
oh, actual girl
Because
next
she's
door.
got like an
Okay.
auburn, kind of like crinkly,
Yeah.
like a little curly, like it's working, right? But it's so
Yes.
funny because they probably are like, well, Alicia, so we have Paris Hilton, and so we can't have two blondes, so we're gonna need to put you in a wig. And
And
hopefully she was cool with it, but I wonder, you just wonder, like, was she like, oh well, wait, like, I want to look like me,
I wanna,
like,
yeah, like my star is just rising, and
right?
I'm the lead. I did feel so you haven't rewatched recently the House of Wax thing.
No, the
Mark?
behind the scenes. No, tell me.
You have to. It's fucking fascinating. I have an
Oh,
entire page of
oh,
notes just
did
on
you
that
watch all the
one.
5 episodes in
Watched
that
all of
link?
them. Ash and
Oh
I
my
watched
god.
the whole movie, and then we were like, "Put it on."
Oh
Slap the link on. It's another 2 hours, and it was fucking
yeah.
amazing.
Oh.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Chad. I'm Jared.
I'm Paris, and we're making a movie in Australia for legendary producer Joel Silver.
Joel's the boss. He's the man.
He's hot, and he invited some cameras along to capture the madness,
The thrill, insanity.
the chaos of making a movie.
You know, it's not always about what happens between action and cut.
This is movie life. House of Wax.
So I learned Alicia Cuthbert. It's pronounced Alicia because I was always saying Alicia.
Alicia, yeah, because it's a funky spelling. Yeah, I don't know if she's Canadian.
New.
She might be.
She is
So,
Canadian.
yeah, so like
Yeah.
maybe it's a little, but yeah, Alicia. Okay.
Yeah, some kind. But so Alicia Cuthbert, she came on later than everyone else.
Oh.
Which they didn't say why, but all Jared Padalecki and Paris both talked in there like talking, and they were filming it like a reality show.
Yeah.
This like they were just like 5 actors picked to be in this, and they're like, we're in Australia, like these slow-mo things with their
Yes.
heads turning around and stuff. And they even had like, okay, oh man. So that was what made Ash and I watching the movie. We're like, they're really mean to each other. We were really mean to our friends back in 2005. And then we were like, and Ash was positing, did we get meaner as did the main characters of horror films get meaner because our deaths were getting more gruesome? Did we feel like we had to earn it by maybe
Oh.
making them trashier people? And I was like,
Wow.
but then seeing how they were talking like as regular people, like behind the scenes, and now some of that is put on too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But seeing that, I was like, oh no. And then remembering how we were to each other and to ourselves, I was like, oh no, I think we were meaner in our language. I think it's exactly like 21 Jump Street, the new one, where they were like, when we graduated, it was like really cool to be hateful. And like 4 years later, the complete opposite.
Yeah.
It was really lame to not be unpacking your hateful thoughts. And,
Right. Oh, and thank God we
thank
progressed because
God.
I mean we had a great, especially high school, we had a great 4
We made
years,
the
but
most
yeah,
of it.
but people were harsh. The jokes were
Yes.
cruel. And I don't know where it started. It's something in pop culture, I think.
I know. It's
You
like, I
know,
don't want to blame it all on 9/11, but it didn't fucking help.
maybe. But
Yeah.
honestly, even before that,
And then
'cause
we went to war.
we went to war. But like when you think of Scream, like their dialogue at the fountain, I'm like,
They're very fucking mean.
they're mean to each other. It's all in jokes, and Matthew Lillard's got his tongue out. But I mean, they're all like, "You could never, you fucking idiot." It's like,
Yeah.
you
I'm
know.
like,
So,
holy shit.
so
Yeah, we
just
were.
of that era, like around 2000, just was a time, and then of course, even 2005. Not until I feel like, I don't know when it changed, but luckily we got nicer to each other for the most part. We became more
Yes.
aware of like, oh wait, yeah, that might really hurt you, or
Yeah.
that really is not cool for me to like just assume that I can say like, hey, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one to unpack, and I'm sure there are scholars who have.
Hmm.
What caused that change? What would have? I mean, part of it is the pendulum swings back and forth, but like, I am interested as to what set that off. Like,
Yeah.
when did we reach critical mass for like we have to stop being like this? Was it like Eat, Pray, Love? Like what? When did we like reach a point where we were like enough?
Enough. But I just think of like like Chad Michael Murray, or Jared Padalecki. I don't get Like,
God bless Chad Michael Murray. I don't know
right?
who he is actually now in person. I don't know if he was playing a part in the behind the scenes, but
He seems
he
nice.
comes off like a dick.
Oh, a dick? Oh,
In
shit.
behind the scenes,
Oh.
this is 20 years ago. And again, I know Chad listens.
I thought you were gonna say like a doll.
Like a
Like
doll.
a sweetie, but no, the total
Like
opposite.
a doll of a douchebag. Like a douchebag doll.
Don't film me getting makeup done.
I'm so scared.
He proposes to Sophia Bush behind the scenes.
Oh, wait, does Chad or
Chad.
Okay,
Chad
wow.
does. And she says
Wow.
yes. They like set up a thing where he like makes her go out to look off the balcony, and he had his assistant write like "I love you" in like votive candles.
Wow.
But everyone's laughing about his dog because Chad keeps going on and on being like, I need an alpha dog. I need the biggest dog in the pack. I'm an alpha. I need the alpha dog. And it
Oh.
actually becomes Jared Padalecki starts like wandering around set being like, you guys an alpha dog. Yeah, Jared Padalecki comes off like a boy wonder, as I knew. I've always loved Jared Padalecki.
Oh wait. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying Jared Padalecki came off like a dick.
No.
Okay.
He comes off like a dog.
Okay, good. I had a feeling. I just
Yeah.
had this feeling. I'm like, Jared doesn't seem like a dick. But okay, Chad was the
Chad
dick.
came out. His name, I literally wrote down, where did I go? The man's name is Chad. He's talking about alpha males. It's like, it was wild.
It's
He's
like
going
literally an eye roll. The whole thing is
Yes.
like,
And then
okay,
he
Chad.
goes to the vet, and the vet finds out that his dog only has one testicle. And
Oh my God, this
so-
is bringing me back.
Is it bringing
Oh my God, I just remembered that. Whoa. And he's like annoyed, right?
Yeah, he's pissed. And then, oh boy, Jared Padalecki, it's like it was fucking Christmas. He's like, he's the uniballer, right? He's the uniballer. Call him Cyball. And Chad Michael Murray was, he was like, it's cool. He was like yelling at the driver of the car. He was like, it's cool. My dog can do more with one ball than any other dog. He's gonna have sex with your wife tonight.
What?
Yeah.
Ugh, God.
I was like, Sophia, run. And it is funny to see because they are not.
I mean, Sophia's a lesbian now.
Sophia ran.
Yeah, she ran. She ran to the other
TV
side.
glow, and she was like, get the fuck out of here. No, that's for when you realize you're trans, not for when you realize you're gay.
Yeah, but
she saw the sign and it opened up her eyes.
She saw the sign.
I don't really dress like my character in real life, though. It was annoying.
Paris gets this cute lingerie. I get stuck with long johns. So I thought, no, this isn't fair.
How do Alicia and Paris come across in the show?
Alicia is tactful as fuck.
Oh.
She comes across. She is, and you can tell like the very first scene that Paris had.
Yeah.
Was a night they had a set, not even set call time. Set call time had to have been like 3.
Oh God.
You're called to, or maybe not set. I guess hair and makeup would have been 3.
Mhm.
Hair call would have been 3, and then their set is 4.
Oof.
They're starting at 4.
Jeez.
And it was Paris Hilton's first night, and she was anxious,
Mm.
and she wouldn't leave her trailer.
Oh.
And Alicia, now I don't know how long it lasted. It could have been a 10-minute thing. I mean, Paris said later she had like a panic attack. She did look really nervous. She did when she came out. She was like, "I'm going to throw up. I'm so scared." And I know she must have felt. Everyone's literally calling for your blood. Like that's what really struck me.
Especially her. But,
her in particular.
Any young actress,
who's on a horror set,
right,
for sure.
but especially her.
No, they were like, Paris Hilton, we want to see her die.
Yes.
It was very like celebrity deathmatch in a very creepy, like it did feel like we were angry. We wanted to punish her for being hot and rich and a girl. And
in a sex tape that was very popular.
Tape, which was not something she released, which I constantly, like she sued him for that money, but she made that as a sex tape for them to have. She didn't like make a porn,
Yeah.
But she didn't do, and God bless, Dustin Diamond's allowed to do it, but she didn't do a screech where he was like, I'm actually filming pornography. Like,
I know.
Women are sleeping with me because it's a porn.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I understand her being frightened, but Alicia Cuthbert was just doing the most tactful. She's like, of course, it can be really nerve-wracking when you're like one of the top ones on the call sheet and you've got to, and she was like, but it's a really good idea to like come out of the trailer and like maybe run a couple lines with your scene partner, and then you can relax. And then they were talking constantly about Paris's singing career on this behind the scenes. And Alicia she was like, so yeah, they're really talking about her singing career, because I guess that's something she's really doing. And good for her. I mean, she has a way better voice than I do. It's like, I was like, she is so tactful.
Yeah.
She was so tactful. And I mean, Stars Are Blind is a fucking bop.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, yeah.
Wow.
I also so they come up, and when they all went home, holy shit, they were all the only person who seemed like he had I mean, they all said they had fun, but the only person who seemed like he was like, that was a good time at the very end of shooting was Jared Padalecki.
Was Jared? Okay.
Which is wild, because he had to be covered in wax. No, everybody else didn't.
Yeah, honestly, out of the four of them, Paris kind of has the least like crazy stuff to do, because Jared's like naked with all that. I mean, I assume that's him. I don't know if that was a stunt actor, but
there were 4 different It was him. He had a stunt. He had they all had to get sprayed with wax. The lead, the stunt performer for the lead. There was another stunt performer, I believe, maybe for like close-up stunt, or close-up doubling, and then
they
he
all
had his
look like
stand-in.
Jared.
His stand-in also had to get sprayed with wax.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they all do look like him. I mean, I never,
they all look like him.
Same like body and everything, because he's like naked.
They showed Alicia when she had to fall down the hill into the roadkill pile,
yes.
and she went fucking flying. Like she didn't hurt herself, so I know that it was okay. But she like the first fall down the hill was like a 5-foot outward drop, and then she hit it and like rolled. I was like, holy
shit!
Yes, and then. Even scarier, do you recall? I wouldn't have known this if I hadn't watched the thing, the behind the scenes. Did you know the entire set burnt down?
It's so funny.
Had Michael Murray in it.
Completely forgot about that, but I remember it was on the show.
Yeah.
And as I was looking on the film's wiki and like just getting any other trivia, there was like a lawsuit over like negligence with this fire. Completely forgot until today that that was a real. I guess a lot of the movie it's fake fire, or but I guess there really was a fire that shut down part of this. Like
a lot of the movie was real fire.
Holy shit.
And the set was made of wax.
It was really made of real wax?
Really?
Why did they do that? I mean, hello.
But because it looked so fucking good.
It looked so good.
It looked awesome. The practical effects in this movie are mind-blowing. It's so good.
This movie doesn't get enough credit for all the cool
all.
things that it actually did.
Cinematography. Cinematography is
great.
Gorgeous.
Death set we'll get into. That epic
really good acting.
Finale.
Everyone
yes,
is really in, especially from the
everyone kind of has like their bad moment, but then there's like at least it's like double. It's at least 2 great moments from everyone.
For every,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
for like every bad moment,
especially
you had.
Alicia. I believed her the entire.
Alicia is great. Alicia is such a.
And Jared Padalecki
to being like a final girl. She is so good in this movie.
Hey, there's that house of wax. It is wax, literally.
This is weird.
People kind of. I think just naturally kind of want to shit on this because it's a remake. It's of this time, 2005, which was iffy. It had Paris Hilton as like the face.
And that's what Ash posed this question, and it's it's a very good question. Do you think so? I love Paris Hilton. I think she's a great person. And I think
she's a comedy queen, and we just never knew. I think she's a comedy
queen. That really quickly before I get into that was something that massively struck me about this. Is first of all, when Paris plays Paige, the Paris Hilton you see in the movie she's not playing herself. She's playing this other character. That has her actual voice. That has the voice that Paris Hilton has when she's just talking to her friends.
Right. Deeper, lower.
Deeper, just like a regular person's voice. Yeah. Well, there are so many. She turns it on for the camera because it's the part that's her job.
Yes.
To play this part of like that's her job all the time.
All the time. That's her. So that's her personality, quote unquote. Right.
Yes. So she would do. There are times when she didn't know the biggest one. I think it was in the first of the episodes. she and Jared are literally doing costume tests in
Mm.
front of Joel Silver
Okay.
rather.
Yeah.
So they're going into the room and like showing him and coming out, and they run into each other outside, and she doesn't see that the camera's on them, and they're just talking as two actors, two colleagues on the set. He was like, "Oh, is wardrobe over there?" And she was like, "Yeah, I think they wanted us to go to wardrobe there, and then I think we're supposed to just come over here and check with him." And he was like, "Okay, cool. So I'll do that." She was like, "Yeah, and I'll see you in a sec." And as she went, "I'll see you in a sec," she caught that the camera was there. She goes, "I'll see you in a sec. Bye."
I love it.
Yeah, and I was like
Wow.
this, and Ash was like, when she goes, like she does it half and half
Mm.
when the camera's on her and
Mm.
she knows it.
Yeah.
Half the time, sometimes she does still talk normal and then realizes it again and comes. But when she's in her talking heads, that's when she gets into
She's
character.
back into
She
the
is 100% talks like that.
Yes.
And
Oh
it's
my
because she's
God.
able to just get her character on and sit down. Like
Mhm,
when
mhm.
she moves, her voice goes lower because she has to support it. It was
Right.
fascinating seeing. I'm like,
Wow.
this
I
literal,
am so excited to rewatch these
you're
episodes.
going to
You are
love
getting me
them.
so excited. I'm so bummed
They
I
were
didn't have a chance
awesome.
to, but, yeah, and, it just makes me wonder, yeah, like, I hope and assume that that voice was her idea and that someone didn't kinda say, like, "Mm, you should, like, talk sexier." Because
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't know.
know,
I
right?
don't know. I know because I know with Britney Spears, it was her dad made her
Mm,
stop singing the way she used to sing on Star Search, and he was like, "Make it higher, make it more like
make
that."
it yeah,
Yeah, and
baby talk.
I don't know if it came from Harris or not, but I do know I do feel confident that she was owning it at the time. At the
Mhm,
time,
yeah.
she was like, "I know what I'm doing, and I know who I am." It was inarguably stunt casting. It was casting her, it was really her first acting
Yep,
role, casting her because of her name and because this will be big
absolutely.
and because she was gonna die, because they
Mhm.
would kill her, and that's what they
And
and I
it's one
mean
of the few slashers, at least of that time, to really promote a character's death.
yes,
Usually, you wanna save that stuff. You show little glimpses
history
of a chase, of a night, but you wanna keep that but this was all about, "No, come to the theater and see her
and
die,"
see her
right?
die, see
So, no wonder
she
there was
will.
pressure on her, right? I mean,
Uh-huh,
you're in a horror movie, people know you're gonna die, so it better be a good death,
better
it
be
better be
good,
worth the
and you
price of
better have
admission.
acted, yeah, you better
And you
be
better be good or at least so bad you're good, like, you better bring it in all these different ways,
yes.
and she's
And
not
all
really an
these scenes where
actress.
she's not being killed, like,
Right.
are the scenes that are scaring the shit out of her, that she's like,
Mhm.
"I have to, like,
It's
act."
all the, like, talking, yeah, and
Yeah,
I mean, when you think about it, we have the opening with the boys, which with, like, the back in the day 1974, which is very interesting, forgot about that,
yes,
and that made
yes,
me think of another remake of this time that you and I saw and spoofed, Black
yes.
Christmas. The opening
Yes!
of this really makes me think of Black Christmas, the remake,
Totally,
where because that had
totally.
lots of flashbacks to kids and violence, but so we have that, and then when we go to present day, it's basically Alicia and Paris, like, starting it off, like, we
Yeah,
are watching, Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sarah Michelle Gellar, like, the girls are
like, we're supposed to be on their side, like,
yes.
we love their
There
relationship.
is no other woman in the movie.
No,
It's just these 2 for which is sort of surprising also for a slasher. It's very male heavy when typically you kinda have at least a few more ladies,
yeah,
So it's just
so you can
Alicia
kill
and
them all.
Paris. Exactly, right?
Yeah,
I wonder why
quick
Alicia
heist too,
was
I
so
guess.
late to be cast. I wonder if they were trying to go for someone else?
I wondered that too, or if it had been cast and it was a
It
recast.
was a recast, yeah, I
I don't
wonder.
know, someone
Maybe
else
also because I know
extra
she was
out.
on 24, the show
Yes.
24, until the year prior, I believe. So this probably shot in 2004
And
to come out in
she was
2005.
I never watched 24, but when I saw Bauer was her last name, so she was his daughter, right?
Yes, I believe
Yeah,
she's
I was
Keeper's
like,
daughter.
so that's
Mhm.
huge. Yeah,
Yes.
she was definitely known. That was
Oh,
like her
yeah.
breakout.
Oh, yeah, she was probably most famous for that show, which is, yeah, something I didn't watch either, which is kinda crazy. So yeah, let me actually, since we're
Yeah,
talking about this, let me now just
yeah,
quickly tell you, we'll tell everyone where people were in their careers, just a few of them, okay?
yeah,
So Alicia,
yeah,
like we said, 24, Girl Next Door, hottie, action, gritty, makes sense, right? Chad
yes.
Michael Murray, we mentioned,
Ugh,
was previously on
teen
Dawson's Creek.
heartthrob,
Teen
everyone loved a Chad.
heartthrob. Can we talk about this buzz cut was so Justin Timberlake post and sync.
Yes.
He was obviously huge in his solo career. Chad was giving major Justin. What
Major
an
Justin.
absolute babe right? But
Yeah.
I'm not surprised he was a dick. So he, of course, was on Dawson's. He was, of course, on One Tree Hill with
One Tree
Sophia,
Hill with
his
Sophia
fiance,
Bush.
right?
Yes.
He had just done Cinderella Story with Lizzie McGuire,
Yes.
Hilary Duff,
Hilary
right?
Duff, yes.
And had also, of course, just done Freaky Friday, the remake. He was the remake boy with
Yes.
Lindsay and Jamie. Of course, now they're all back for the new one coming out later this year. So history is
Can't
repeating
wait.
itself, right?
Yes.
Cannot wait. And then I'll cap it off with Paris. Like we said, not really an actress, but of course, used to playing a character for years,
Very
right?
much so. Yeah.
Between videos, socialites, and of course, the Simple Life show, right?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
director, again, I think it's Jaume Colette Serra. I cannot believe this is his first feature film. He had done
Wow.
like an Enrique Iglesias music video. Maybe he did some other music videos, but like, they took a risk on him. And this movie, I think, is a very well-made movie.
It's
Very
very
few
well
minor,
made.
to me, minor things that I would have changed. But
Yep.
like we're saying, beautiful cinematography, like some great
Yes.
overheads. I love that shot of Alicia's in the house with the brothers and she's rolling under the table and the camera's moving.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The camera
Great
moves when it
storytelling
needs
with
to.
the way the camera moves.
Right?
And the
I-
set, not enough can be said about how they went to Australia to save money, as we
Right.
do
Which I
now.
remember 20 years ago hearing that. I'm like, Australia, what the heck? Like, you couldn't just shoot this in the South? Like, I didn't know, like,
Yeah,
oh
and
yeah,
they were
like
like, "Yeah,
tax
we're not
breaks.
getting the tax breaks
And
to shoot
like,
it."
they're going
And
to
your
build a whole
dollar, the
town.
American dollar goes farther in
Right.
certain places, and
And
so
now we have tariffs or whatever
I
on
know.
foreign films. So whatever.
Every
right?
film is a foreign film. I was
Yeah.
like, "Are you fucking
Also,
okay."
the way to fix that is make it cheaper or better or easier to
Yeah.
shoot in the US. Don't
Incentives,
don't
not
penalize.
punishments.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
Especially because so much, yeah, it is a fundamental misunderstanding of how it works, and also it's one of our largest exports, so we
right.
really need to get it right.
Well, I like how
Um,
it seems like so far he kind of quickly sort of backed down, like, okay, well, yeah, you guys let me know. It's
yeah,
like,
he likes to say crazy shit and then see if anyone's gonna,
actually gonna be like, well, wait a minute, but
if
because
anyone
John Voight
raises
is
them
like,
up.
sort of trying to normalize it a touch. He's like, okay, my buddy John
My
is
buddy
telling me,
John said that, yeah, which I was like,
anyway.
"What is God
But
bless, but what does John Voight know about making a movie today?" Today
today,
is what I'm
maybe
saying.
like a good, Anaconda, back in the day.
Yes, yes.
Right?
Great.
Oh,
Well, we
amazing.
don't make movies like Annika. We
I
don't make
know.
and House of Wax had a huge budget for the movie that it was.
Yes.
But I wonder if part of it was because I think the building of the town was incredible.
Oh my
The
gosh.
town itself, all
I
of
wish
the
they
sets.
kept it. That would have been an amazing,
Yeah.
like, Halloween Horror Nights. Go to this town, this fake
Yes.
House of Wax town with fake wax people in the windows. I mean, are you
It would've
kidding?
been
That would have been
so
amazing.
cool. Now, the
Yeah.
people who were in the church
Hmm.
were living extras
Okay.
that they made latex masks of
Wow.
that
So they
it
had to
for
stay still. Holy shit.
totally still and do it. And every now and then, yeah, Alicia would be like, "Oh my god, he just laughed. I forgot that's a person in there." And he's like, his mouth isn't moving, but he was just like,
It's kind of a great gig. I mean, you don't need to, because extra work,
take a
it's
little
like, let
nap,
me do the same thing over
shit,
and over. It's like, okay, I just sit here and
sit still.
I'm part of the cool, I'm very cool
AirPods
team. Yeah.
in and just sit.
Yeah, it's like action. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm ready, right? The whole thing was actually wax,
Yeah.
guys. Come
I think it
on.
was like there were solid structures underneath, and then there was the wax. And then what they were saying was there was fire retardant things like drapes and stuff, but take after take, the wax melted onto them until they were no longer fire retardant, were in fact just melted wax.
Oh my God.
And that caught fire and it just went up. And Chad Michael Murray, yeah, Chad was like, he goes, I was doing a scene, the guy hits him to the ground. And he was like, and I felt my knuckles. He kept saying,
I
my
remember this.
knuckles
Wow.
bubbling.
Yes,
And
knuckles.
I don't know if he meant that he felt the skin bubbling, if the heat made him feel as though his blood was bubbling, or if he
Oh, God.
literally just felt bubbling of the wax on. But whatever it
Oh.
was, yeah. And then there's another time later on when they
Oh my
rebuild
God.
and come back. They had 2 weeks off. They had to rebuild, come back. And they maybe even longer. And then when he came back, there was a part where the set is melting and something hit his head and he lost his mind. He was screaming like a bit of a Christian Bale. And then he turned, he goes, and now the fucking cameras are on me while I have my meltdown. Great. That's great. But, and he was, I mean, fair fucking enough. He was shouting. He was like, I am a fucking professional. I'm never late. I have all my lines. I'm hitting my marks. If you tell me something's going to hit my head, I can be okay with that. But I was almost set on fire a couple weeks ago and I can't have the set falling down on my head. He was like, this isn't fucking safe. It's not just me. This isn't safe for everyone else. Like, he was absolutely right.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I honestly would probably be doing the same thing.
Yes.
I mean, you just survived one insane thing.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm sorry, the set's falling apart. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me with this right now? Like, I'm doing my job. Who is not doing theirs? That the set is falling on my head. Jared Padalecki had to go through. He was very scared about it's real wax. It's real liquid wax that they are pouring on, not all over the face or whatever,
Right.
but that he had to have it be on his hand for real. And he keeps like being, and they were kind of playing it up in the edit to make it look like he was being a diva, being like, but I'm like, yeah, they're going to pour hot wax on him. He has to.
We've all seen the Ricky Martin Livin' La Vida Loca video with the hot wax on him. Like,
seems like it hurts.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a
this
sensation.
bitch is Loca. Or her Vita is, at the very least.
Okay, now in our spoof,
Yeah.
House of Sax, I remember the cast. I can't remember. So refresh my memory from what you remember. I think our killers were they Nicole Richie and was it Britney Spears?
I think Nicole Richie was one of the killers.
Nicole's one of the killers because she's upset that Paris
did something without her.
Yes,
or...
right.
Yeah.
And I know our killers were Mel and Tam because I'll never forget Mel. Oh no,
I
it
thought
wasn't.
Tamara was.
Oh no,
Alicia
Tamara was
Cuthbert's
Chad. Tamara was Chad.
Oh my god. She wore the shirt, the t-shirt.
She wore a tank top over a dress. I remember, yes.
Because she was
Chad.
Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel.
Because Jessica Biel's character in again, these ladies birthed a
Jessica Biel, Elijah Dushku, Eliza Dushku, Alicia
Cuthbert.
Right? They all are the same girl.
So yeah. They're all and
that's
they're
right.
all gorgeous
You would
and
say
a little
Jessica
dirty.
Biel, but who played Jessica Biel if it wasn't you?
Because I normally it would have been me, and I was like, no, I'm going.
Was it like Lauren Smith or was it Cassie? Like, man, I can't remember.
Because Dylan was Jared Padalecki, and you
was I someone?
You were the videotape guy.
Okay, I was Dalton.
Did something where we pretended to kick you down my basement steps.
Oh, that's right.
That's
yes,
how Dalton dies. And I don't remember. Oh, it was. We had some like my mom had like some art teacher thing, like a long tube, like a cardboard tube or something that we were pretending was like the thing that beheaded you somehow. Like I can't remember exactly
I love that death. I love that death in the movie. That because it's so brilliant to like not see it and then see his decapitated head. I think
although
it's spooky.
Upon seeing it more, I was like, no, you need the viscera. You need
he's sort of like it is
does
sort of
it,
funny.
I guess reverse.
Yeah, is it like
he goes,
the way he does it? It's sort of like he points down, but I feel like you'd have to go like swipe. You know what I mean?
Like he does it down into it, but I'd think you'd more. But I guess maybe it severed enough that it caused a pull.
It's sort of like scissors. It's sort of two knives becoming scissors.
Yeah. But then you need to do a gut.
Then you gotta kind of bring them all the way to the ground to really.
Is the pulling of it what decapitated him.
I know, because I remember the way it's shot. It's the scissors, but then as he pulls the body, the scissors kind of move a little bit.
Yeah, and then it cuts to to the other side, and you see his face. Like,
it's a pretty great death, I have to say. Yeah, we got some good deaths.
A lot of good deaths.
Hold your thought on deaths because I want to hear your favorite too. But okay, so I was that guy. Dylan was Jared. You were Paris, of course. I think Melissa was Nicole Richie because I remember. Okay, I think the killers were, if I remember correctly now, it wasn't Britney Spears. I think it was Nicole Richie and Lindsay Lohan because this is when Lindsay started becoming a bad girl. So our killers were the bad girls being like, Paris, why are you not going to Saks with us? Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe it was about like you're supposed to.
Why are you hanging out with these people?
Come to Saks.
Because I remember very well, for whatever reason, I remember your whole chase scene during Hollaback Girl, and I remember Mel looking at camera and saying, "Where's Lindsay when I need her?"
Yeah. See, I remember my look to camera. I was screaming, running as Paris, being like, ah. Acting's hard.
Oh my God, acting hard, yes. Oh wow, this is
I was
bringing me
such a
back.
bitch.
Oh my God.
Yes, and then of course Sarah Michelle Gellar reprising her
Uh-huh.
role, the cutout of Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy reprising her role as my stunt double.
As your stunt double, your stand-in,
Yes.
getting the whatever we threw at
Like a
her. 'Cause
lightsaber or something?
yeah,
'Cause it went in. It like it folded in on itself
I
upon
think it
hitting
was
the
someone's
cardboard.
lightsaber.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, I have to find this so badly. God, we
Yes,
had so much
it's a
fun.
good one.
And yeah, now that I remember it, I think I was wearing like a trucker hat, not
Yeah.
only like Dalton, but to also tie it into Ashton Kutcher punked era as well with the whole,
Yes.
yeah. Oh my God. I remember, and we shot it mostly at your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All at and then a very weird I remember that night I had something happen where, like, my vision, like, shifted, and I thought something like, I was dizzy suddenly, and we went to the hospital, and they said I was just dehydrated, but I do also always remember
Oh
that with
shit.
House of Wax was like or House of Sax was, like,
Oh
later on.
my God.
I
So
was totally
when
fine.
we were wrapped, when we were done for
Yeah,
the day,
when we
you
were
had to go to
wrapped,
the
I ended
hospital?
up going to the hospital.
Wow, I forgot about that.
No, I don't think it was when anyone was even there maybe,
Yeah. But
'cause
still,
it was,
just
like,
I forgot
later.
you I'm sure
Then I
told
swung
us the
I'm
next
sure, yeah,
day.
and I was like, "Guess who I went to
Wow, that was
to
like
see?
your
The
first
hospital."
on-set, like, injury incident.
Yes, and I just, like, got dizzy.
Looks like a hell of a party. Look how detailed this is. Tell me this doesn't look real.
Okay, so out of all of our deaths, let's go through them real quick because this movie's got some. I mean, Jared Padalecki's our first one. It takes a little bit, you know.
I
We don't really
know.
have. There's no opening death, which I like. There's no. We're just kind of getting to this group because you know the
Yeah.
movie isn't short. It feels great. I wouldn't change anything with timing,
But
but it's
it
like an
yeah.
hour and like 53 minutes, I think, with credits. So I mean, we're
Longer
we
than our usual
yes,
fare at the
not
time,
like a
yeah.
90-minute, you know, like for a movie where there's really just kind of one setting, one
Mhm.
group of friends. There's not a lot of cops. There's not a lot of like side characters, you know. But
Yeah.
so Jared is our first one to get it. And again, going back to Texas Chainsaw, the remake, it feels very much like that actor Eric Balfour, his kind of snooping around the house. Like he's the first one to really get a gnarly death. So I feel like the
Yes.
writers, which the writers were Chad Hayes and Carrie W. Hayes. So the Hayes brothers,
The
very interesting,
Hazes, yeah.
right?
The
That
Hayes twins.
connection, right? The Hayes twins, and then brothers with siblings are a big deal in this movie, of course, we
Yes.
know, right?
Yes.
And of course, everybody, I forgot to say before we continue the deaths, based on the original idea from Charles Belden. So, Kit, have you ever actually seen the old House of Wax movies? There's
Not front to back.
oh,
The
okay.
Vincent, but I've seen parts of the Vincent
I've
Price.
seen the Vincent
There
Price
are
one.
more than
Iconic.
I'm only thinking of just the
So
one, but they
there's two technically. Totally forgot the Vincent Price one is a remake. The original is Mystery of the Wax Museum from 1933.
What?
Yes, so Charles Belden, let me see. That one was written by Don Mullally and Carl Erickson from the Story By. So Charles Belden has always been story by in all of these
He
Wax
came up
movies.
yeah,
So he came
is
up with
the
the
one who
idea.
came up
He
with this
got
idea.
credit for the Vincent Price one, which is not like this whatsoever. I've never seen the 1933 one, so I don't know. It just says the disappearance of people and corpses leads a reporter to a wax museum and a sinister sculptor. Okay, so that's basically the gist of the Vincent Price one, where it's a
Okay.
sinister sculptor. It's in the city. I think it's in London, if I remember correctly. It's in a
Okay.
city, right?
Yeah.
This is very different. It's more Texas Chainsaw. I've never seen it. Maybe you have.
Or Wrong
A
Turn.
very wrong turn.
Yeah.
Again, that the tank top was just doing the work,
It
right?
was doing the tank top and the deep American South was
Uh,
just doing the
exactly.
work.
Yeah, because Alicia even says, "Oh man, it's getting dark already. I hate winter." Meanwhile, they're sweating. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah, I was like,
we just were into
winter.
like the hillbilly South, like wrong turn, right? But
Yup.
I've never seen it, but most people actually say this is really a remake of Tourist Trap. Have you ever seen Tourist Trap?
No, I've not seen Tourist
It's
Trap
on
either.
Peacock, so I feel like we need to
When
watch that
did
ASAP.
Tourist Trap come
I'm
out?
that I believe was 79,
Okay, 'cause
late 70s, early
didn't
80s, I think.
Tourist Trap also have a remake? Or maybe I'm just thinking Las Turistas. Wasn't
You're thinking,
Turistas
you're thinking Turistas, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I'm sure is similar, but that was an exotic location. Tourist Trap, I think, also was
Yeah.
the South. Tourist Trap,
Mm.
1979. So right after Halloween, same year as Alien, after the success of Texas Chainsaw. A
Delicious.
group of young friends stranded at a secluded roadside museum are stalked by a masked assailant who uses his telekinetic powers to control the attraction's mannequins. So different, but very similar.
I would love to see that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
different
we
but
really do have to
similar.
watch it. Yeah, the Vincent Price one,
Absolutely.
you might remember from the clips you've seen. It's in a city. I love it, but it is so not this at all. It's like,
Yes.
you know.
When Alicia and Jared are in the house or in the museum
Hmm.
and I will say also as a kid, I was like, Jared Padalecki is so innocent and good. Why would they ever hurt him? But seeing it as an adult, I was like, he broke into every single fucking place around. The guy was 15 minutes late coming back from a loved one's funeral. And he's like, well, let's just go in. God, he's taking forever. I
Yeah.
was like, the man told you he buried someone like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, true.
He's fucking around the thing. But then I think it's Alicia who says or one of them says there's a newspaper article that's like, this woman, Trudy, is a famous like wax sculptor. And she was like, she goes, what's like who's ever been a famous wax sculptor? And Ash was in the other room and he goes, motherfuckers acting like there ain't no Madame Tussauds.
Yeah, seriously.
Like
Seriously.
there's an iconic wax sculptor who's known by her surname,
Right.
who
Yeah.
has a house of wax in every major city.
And and it's not like those all popped up in like 2006. Like,
No, it's
girl.
like she came from like the French Revolution time.
Right.
Not actually, right? She was late 1800s.
Yeah,
The second
yeah.
French Revolution.
Right,
maybe.
right.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, it's like, you know better. You've never heard that. You've never, right?
Never heard of maybe one
But
famous
they
wax
are all
sculptor.
they are all kind of country bumpkins. Because am I right? They kind of like poke fun at how Jared Padalecki either lives
From
in
a
New
small
York
town
or
and
wants
he
to go to
wants-
New York or doesn't like New York.
But
I
he
forget.
wants a small, because she says it was in that he wants to live in a small town, which I think we're supposed to, maybe she wants to go to New York because I think we're supposed
Okay.
to feel like there's tension.
There's a little,
And
yeah.
She says, oh, what, like, where is there a famous, wax person?
Mhm.
And he goes, well, it's a small town. And she goes, oh, I forgot you like small towns.
Yes.
And he's like,
No,
well, I
think
grew
he
up in a
wants to
small
leave
town.
New York. And oh, that's right. Okay, so maybe she's not a country bumpkin, even though, girl, you're in New York City. Because I do love in the very beginning, Paris Paige tells Carly, she says, like, congrats on your internship at InStyle, which I was like, wow, I love that.
An internship at InStyle magazine? 2005's most coveted position?
You know it. Absolutely. I forgot all about InStyle. Oh my God.
And then where's this game that we're all going
I
to?
know this game. They're so focused on this game, and then and then they give up with traffic. It's like, if the game was that popular, guys, how are you surprised there's traffic?
Yeah,
Right?
and like, why did you stop when she was like, we should just stop tonight? Like, no, we have to make it to like the field of the game
I know.
and then camp there.
Yeah. The stopping is, well, I know there's the detour, right?
Yeah, and it takes them too
Iconic.
long.
I mean,
and
classic.
You gotta.
Let's just cross off the detour from the to-do list, right?
I
But
know.
yeah, so they're so upset about this detour. Like, they're immediately like, oh shit, this sucks. It's like,
Ah,
okay, it might just be like, go down there and then turn left and you're back
Yeah.
on track.
or like, also like, why'd you take it? If it was gonna be overnight and it just saved you an hour, the guy was like, it looks like it'll save us an hour. I was like, just do
Right.
the one that's real.
Yeah,
Like, take the real road.
yeah. Because Jared's character, Wade,
Wade.
small town Wade.
Small town name.
God, we got Wade, we got Carly, Paige, Dalton. Kind of
Dalton.
random. Dalton's the rich boy. What's Chad's name? Nick. I just call him Chad. And
Chad.
then Blake
And then
is
Blake
Paige's.
is Paris Hilton's, who
Yes.
also I don't think he was famous, but he feels like stunt casting is just like, here's a sexy guy.
Yeah.
Let's put this sexy guy in here.
Yeah. Out of all these characters, who's and you can include the killers as well. Who's your
Yeah.
favorite death?
Favorite death is Jared Padalecki, hands
Mm.
down. It's because it doesn't
goes
happen
on
until
for a
the very
while.
end, does it?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
never happens until the house of wax melts.
Yeah.
I was like, this man had to get everything waxed off his
Oh,
face,
you're
which
so
like,
right.
and I also turned to Ash. I was like, well, we know for a fact that that's not how waxing. You'd have to pull like 4 times to get
Oh,
over the angle.
I know. It just was a little bit of wax, really, and then like one. I was
And then
like,
one pull, I was like, no, you can't. You have to
oof.
go up to this part of the plane, then this part, then this. I've seen enough people like in like Saudi royals on Instagram get their wax, their like chins waxed.
It is interesting that Vincent waxed Wade's face to then put on like eyebrows and maybe even facial hair when he's a wax figure. Am I
Yeah.
right?
But I have to say, it reminds me of like when I see makeup artists who are doing really intense makeup. Sometimes they'll like glue down their
Yeah,
eyebrows
like the drag queens.
or
Yeah.
shape them off to draw
Yeah.
on. Yeah. So
That
it
is
seems almost
interesting.
like, no. I'm
Yeah.
doing a whole new bone structure
Yeah.
on you, babe.
You got to go down to the base level and
Yeah,
then
strip you down and
yes.
then build you back up, babe, and then play with your nips.
Oh my god, the nipple action.
I know.
Yes, we see some major boobage from a wax figure who
And I'm like,
that
oh,
is
well, that's a person.
that's a person. That
Yes.
girl is getting felt up.
And is she alive at the time, or is she? Because some of the
Talk about scary.
See, I thought I know, just being I was
It's
like,
like
he's making the nipple hard.
I
But
know.
he's doing it until it's his intended.
I know. He's really like circling that
Getting in there.
areola. And like the
Yes.
camera's like,
This
And
is 2005. Yeah.
Speaking of cameras, real quick,
Yes.
going
Yeah.
back to Paris's sex tape, it's also in the wake
They
of Blair
reference
Witch,
it.
of course,
They
but
fucking reference it. A
there's
night
definitely
vision
a
of her
night
with the lip
vision.
gloss scene.
Yes, guys, I was just getting my lip balm. She's just getting her
Yeah,
lip balm.
she's just getting her lip
Right,
balm.
right.
I feel like they
I
should
do
cut
love
to,
it.
like, NASA being like, "Ladies and gentlemen, she's just getting her lip balm." Like, everyone is telling everyone about the
Right?
lip balm. Yeah.
But like, it is very interesting to see. I don't. That's where my brain goes. Maybe because Paris is in this movie, and not everything is night vision. And I do love the handheld, like video camera. Like it's actually quite spooky. Early on, like when they're sleeping in their tents, like it's very spooky.
I had a
But-
note about that too. Who is
Right?
filming? How does he know how and when to push in? He's like choosing his I was like, if it's the guy who's the rapist guy, like the meaner brother,
Right? Yeah.
then okay.
Bo. Yeah.
Bo's been out in the world, but
Yes.
Vincent doesn't know
Yeah.
how to push it. He's going to be looking for the zoom to push in.
Vincent's gonna be
exactly at the
recording
right
himself.
moment.
He's gonna be doing the wrong way. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? He'll be
Vincent's
like
gonna be
looking
like,
up at the
when
right?
like wildlife gets the camera, like, and they're like looking at it, like Vincent doesn't
Yes.
know. It's not wax.
Oh, but yeah, just want to shout out the actual video camera because it's of the time, it's of
Mhm.
that Blair Witch vibe, it makes sense. But then that night vision, I'm like,
That's on purpose.
Dwame, whatever his name is, and team,
Yep.
you know what you're doing. You're making us all think of that video, right?
And I wondered if she knew that they would do that because
Yeah.
knowing now what I know about Basic Instinct,
Oh.
that Sharon Stone, the reason why she removed her underwear for the shot was because she was told the white from your underwear is bouncing off the light. So we need it to be, you won't see anything, but we need your underwear off so that
Mm.
it'll be like a dark cavern.
Mm.
And then you could see her, and he just left it in. And she was like, I don't think I would have liked to be given the option to do that.
That's
And then
honestly
Vincent-
really insane. It's really insane.
And I wonder if Paris knew, because she knew, of
I
course,
hope
they're going to make a
so.
blowjob joke. I hope she
Right.
knew.
She knew the blowjob joke,
But
right?
did she know that they were because that only comes in post?
Yeah.
Did
the
she
night
know that they were
vision.
going to turn the night vision
I wonder.
on?
Ugh,
It's
I hope.
definitely
I mean, I
good
hope. I
choice.
like this director's work a lot. He's even done like
Yes.
Jungle Cruise. I haven't seen Jungle Cruise with The Rock and
I have.
Emily Blunt. Was it
I
good?
mean-
It looked fun. No, okay, but like
Oh, but it wasn't. It didn't offend me.
No,
it was
yeah,
just
I'm
like,
sure-
oh, this could have been. So
it could have been
much more
something.
fun.
Yeah, The Shallows. He's even done like some Liam Neeson thrillers. He did another. Oh, he did Orphan. He did Orphan.
Oh wow,
the first one,
damn.
right? I'm pretty sure. Let
That
me double check.
was-
That was an
such
iconic
a powerful
one.
movie
Yep.
that it like made people think that their adopted children were, and like some
Yes.
people did terrible things to their adopted children
Yes.
because of how powerful his art was. Like,
Right. Yep.
I'm
oh, yeah.
sure.
And then he
I'm sure
did a
Disney
couple.
wouldn't let it be made without. I'm sure they wouldn't give money for practical. It has to be.
Yeah, right. No, yeah. So he did House of Wax, Orphan. He did Gold 2. I don't know what Gold 2 Living the Dream is, but good for you for not switching it up. House of Wax, Orphan.
I don't want to even continue it after goal 1.
Right?
That's not
Then-
even my cinematic universe.
He has worked on. Oh, he did Carry On, the Netflix movie that just came out at Christmas. So boring. I did not like it with Jason Bateman and Taron Egerton. Oh, he just
yeah,
did The
I
Woman in
know.
the Yard. I just saw that and it's okay. It's fine. That roadkill pit, I talk about another shot, like how you were saying earlier, how she rolls right into it,
Yeah.
and then the camera really goes up and reveals. It is.
Ugh.
I can smell it. I can feel that moment. Like, I mean, there are just such
100%.
great key moments, and then that gets us, Kit, to an iconic moment in our lives. Not only, not only does Chad Michael Murray, Nick, take off his tank top, he's got nothing else on. He just takes it off to offer
Takes
it
it
to his
off.
sister, right, who's covered in animal gore. But
Yeah.
he does it like minutes later. Like you would think, I don't know, as I was
Do
rewatching,
it
I'm
right
like, yeah, why
away.
don't you do it right away? Like, oh yeah, get that off and here, just take
Oh,
this.
God,
And
yeah.
then actually one thing I would have changed was, yeah, do it sooner, have that big moment, which they knew everyone wanted to see, right?
Uh-huh.
And then now you have creepy third brother, roadkill guy kind of gawking at her changing, but then also like you're exposed. And yeah, you're a guy and he's a guy and he doesn't seem into guys, but then he can
But
also like look at your body because he's part of a family of
because they're
killers.
all into bodies. Yeah.
It's all about
He's
like,
like, ooh, those abs would look good in my brother's work.
right? So that actually would have been really interesting and maybe a little homophobic if what if he's shirtless for this conversation with this country bumpkin who's kind of eyeing him up and down, not in a gay way, although they could be
Yeah.
like, that was weird. I guess he's into you. There'd be a
Yeah.
little bit of that, which I mean, tastefully
No
done,
homo, man.
right? No homo.
Yeah.
But no, he's like, oh, I'm going to bring you to my brothers because like they
Yeah.
could really have fun with you, which is gross.
Yes.
So I would have, so it's just funny because it's like minutes go by. They're getting weirded out by this guy, this smell. And then as they are about to leave, Chad goes, hey, and he just like taps her and she's like, what?
Right.
And he takes off his tank top, which I mean, amazing. But even she is like, what?
What do you want me to do with this?
Like, I love
You
that she's directed to kind of be like, I'm sorry?
Yeah, like
What? You're
in
my
front of our
brother.
friends?
No,
Like,
not
this is our
now.
secret thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like if we spoofed it now, we'd be like, we'd have her say like,
we
"Wait,
had
now
no play
here?
on the incest.
Wait,
we had
we have to-
none.
yeah."
But
I
now as
know.
adults, I'm like, that's all I see is you creepy little freaks trying to do each other.
Hey, Rewinders. I'm pausing our chat for just a moment to thank you for listening to this show, which is part of the You Run Podcast Network. Check out another fun pod that's part of this community, Dewey Pod Monster. What a name. I love saying it. Hosted by John and Sean, Dewey Pod Monster is a podcast about consumption. They cover all kinds of subjects that can be consumed: beer, movies, music, spirits. And nothing is off limits. Recent episodes of theirs focus on horror movies like Child's Play 2, Thinner, and Friday the 13th Part 6. So I mean, duh, right up our alley. Find out more at yourunpodcast.com. Also, since we are talking about horror, my latest short film, Casting Kill, is on YouTube, Vimeo, where else? Sparrow, the site I co-created. So check out a horror comedy that I made called Casting Kill, which lovingly pokes fun at the world of casting, acting, and production.
How do you get into the building with a weapon?
We don't have metal detectors downstairs.
You don't?
All right, now back to the House of Wax party, and I have more friends who want to spill the wax and spread the love. They are Kit's partner, Ash, Shalina from the Everything 90s podcast, and Kadu, who is a frequent contributor to the Radical Retro Rewind podcast. Say that 5 times fast. Here they are with their thoughts.
Hey, this is Ash. I just wanted to jump in real quick and say, first of all, this movie might be one of those underrated gems of the early 2000s. Fantastic sets, practical effects, a lot of really cool, very gory kills, but not too much in that Saw way. I enjoyed this movie quite a bit. But I think even more than this movie, I liked the behind-the-scenes MTV documentary about the movie. This literally might be like the Hearts of Darkness to House of Wax's Apocalypse Now. The behind-the-scenes is that good. It's worth watching, and it might even be better than the movie itself. So I'd say check that out, and thanks for bringing that to my attention, Mark, because that was a fantastic watch. All right, have fun, guys.
Hey, Release Date Rewind listeners. This is Shalina from Everything 90s podcast, and hello, Mark. This was actually the first horror movie I watched alone. And if you remember, Mark, from our episode together, horror movies are not my thing. And I think the reason why I was okay with watching this or was intrigued was because of Alicia. She was in it. Um, and if you know Popular Mechanics for Kids, that's the show that she started on, Canadian classic. So I kind of felt safe going into watching this movie because I'm like, oh, I know her. She's familiar. The cast of this movie, they made a appearance on Much Music. Much Music was a music TV station in Canada. And they had an interview with the cast members. They blocked off Queen Street West. I wasn't there, but I watched it on TV.
Hi, Cadu Luongo here. House of Wax is actually one of my favorite slashers from the 2000s, and I have a funny story with the movie actually. When House of Wax premiered here in Brazil, I was only 16, and the movie wasn't allowed for people under 18. So I had to come up with a plan to watch the movie even though I wasn't allowed to. And we switched rooms, and there was a security guard there. We had to pretend that we were already in the room, and it was a whole adventure prior to the movie. Anyway, I think it's so fun. I love the atmosphere of the House of Wax, and the kills are very creative. I love the final girl, Carly. I love Paige's chase scene, and there's a lot of great qualities in this movie. The cinematography is great, the soundtrack, the score. So I'm really happy that 20 years later, this is a cult classic now.
You're saying that that's a real person underneath?
There's some great intentionally funny, like so gross it's funny moments where you have Dalton like touching his face, accidentally ripping off skin, and then as the killer, Vincent's right there, which by the way, guys with long black hair, killers, always terrifying. Always.
Yes. Again with Black Christmas.
Black Christmas, yep, long hair. We had Saw the pig with long hair. Also, this makes me think of another movie I'll probably talk about later this year because it turns 25. Cherry Falls. Remember Cherry Falls? With the killer and the long black wig, right? And we won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. You have time to watch that before the pod. But he's there, and as he takes a swipe at Dalton with the knife or whatever, he then accidentally cuts more of Wade's face off.
And Jared Padalecki, I think, is doing some incredible acting with just his eyes.
Is that really Jared under there?
I think it must be. They didn't say, but I think it must be. It's his eye color at least.
Yes.
The singular tear. And then when they cut his face, he screams and his eyes roll up in his head. And I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Yeah, his death is the most macabre, I feel like, out of everyone.
Poor Wade, when he's a pretty nice guy, he's probably one of the least douchey ones, I think.
But now upon second rewatching, he broke into every single place.
Yeah.
And he got pissed at his girlfriend he was like, wow, I guess another guy likes you. And she's like, okay, I guess I'll stop.
Yeah, he's like, your fan club's growing. And she's like, seriously? How's that my fault?
I'm not like dancing for them.
Right.
Like, I'm just
I know, she's a trooper. She got a shitty brother and a shitty boyfriend. You're right. At least in that moment. Then he's cool,
And then Bo, I will say, and this I knew as a kid too, but I'm now, that evil brother is very sexy. What?
Brian Van Holt, such a babe.
And not just the way he looks, which like he's very sexy, just like looking, but when he grabbed her and is the fireman carrying her, and when he super glues her lips together and leans in and goes,
blows on them. Yes.
Awakenings. That Awakenings, and also, and I know there are some people, there are listeners who know what I'm talking about the kind of awakening that can. It's also very similar to Charlie's Angels when Crispin Glover puts the tape over Drew Barrymore's mouth and then
kisses
it.
Yeah. Really? Oh my God, you're such a freak. I love it.
I know.
Oh yeah, I'm
like,
Googling
God,
Brian
like
Van Holt right now.
in and
Oh.
like she can't and she goes, "What are you gonna do to me?" And I was like, "Yeah, what are you gonna do to her?"
Yes. Who do you think so is the hottest guy for you in this whole movie? Of mostly hot guys, I guess the least hot is the roadkill guy, followed by Dalton. Although I do
No,
love I do
I
love John Abraham. Is that his
I
name? John
mean, I
Abraham?
don't wish to be cruel about Vincent, but like,
Oh
no,
yeah.
the melted wax guy is the
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, he's the scariest for
He's
sure. Yeah, sorry
he's
about
the least fuckable.
your
Yeah.
dad like
Sorry about your
separating yeah.
face. Yeah.
But yeah, who's the hottest guy for you? Is it Brian Van Holt?
It's Brian Van Holt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's
And
great.
I love Jared Padalecki, but his hair purposefully in this one is on purpose a
I
little bit
know.
lamer than Dean's hair
Oh,
as in Gilmore Girls, and I
I
loved him as Dean
know.
in
He
Gilmore.
really had like a sort of like it's not a bowl cut, but it feels like that.
It's
And it's
Joel
a
Silver's
shame.
fault. You hear
Oh.
him go when he comes in and he's like, "The hair, I
Hmm.
dyed it a little differently," and Joel's like, "No, it's bad.
Oh, he
It
dyed
needs to
it.
go shorter."
Oh.
He was like, "It needs to be shorter," and I'm like, "Oh, so you're the reason why he can't tuck up behind his ears?"
Oh, the
Like,
tucking
yeah.
behind the ears, especially to kind of juxtapose Chad's buzz cut. Yeah,
Yeah.
have Wade have like longer hair,
Flowing. Yeah,
right?
no, it looked like
Tendrils.
flat.
Yes, it's very
Yeah.
much like old school. I don't know, it made me think of like the Beatles. It just felt like I guess it's like early Justin Bieber, that kind of look,
Kinda, yeah, but
you
they
know?
didn't commit to it, so it
No.
becomes this
And
yeah.
it's sad because the 4 of them are photographed so much. I mean, they were all over the world promoting this movie, and Jared looks so much better in real life in 2005
Person. Yeah.
promoting the movie than he does in the movie. I know,
Yeah, they
but
made him look a little silly with the striped shirt and the bowl cut.
I do kinda like the striped shirt, I have to say. And you know what? I like that. I'm just so glad he's not wearing like a football jacket or
Yeah.
the I have to say the wardrobe overall is very questionable. I know Paris's sweatsuit, I can't even call it a tracksuit. It is a sweat. It's baggy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a beautiful color. It's kind of iconic, but like, why is she wearing that the whole movie? You know what I mean? Like,
I know,
it's
until
just of
she
that
stopped
era.
wearing lingerie.
Until yeah, it's just the red bra underneath
Yeah.
and like sort of an oversized blue hoodie coat, and
It's
that's
like
it.
a robe or
It's like a
something.
robe,
Yeah,
yeah,
that she put
constantly over the
on.
shoulder in perfect like positioning, right?
Yes,
Um,
always.
but yeah, like for much of the movie, she's wearing this like kind of bright blue, not baggy, but not form-fitting. Like, thank God, like Kate Hudson changed the game with Fabletics, and we have
Yes.
form-fitting like activewear. Because I'm like,
Yes.
Paris, you are too sexy to
It was
kind of
just
wear this
strange,
drapey,
but
right?
it was the
It
velour.
was
I had a velour juicy
velour,
sweatsuit. We all did.
juicy,
We all
juicy.
did. I was a femme in Morristown. I had to. In
Oh God.
2005, you had to do it. And, yeah, I never liked the way it looked. I also always had to wear mine was pale pink, so I had
I
to wear
remember that.
a thong
Yours
with
was pink.
it
Mhm.
because you could see your underwear through it if you
Yes.
were regular. So I was like, it
It
makes
was
it
so
even
clingy.
less possible
Yeah.
to work out in,
Oh
that, like, you
God.
have to wear a thong with
Oh
it.
my God. The things
Yeah,
you ladies have done in
with
your
the
lives.
things we've done.
Oh,
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's
the
wild.
wardrobe's a little questionable, but I'm just glad because they could have put Wade in like
Alicia
some
has a belt for a I
oh,
actually kinda love that. She has, like, a belt
yes,
as a bracelet. I was like,
yes.
"This is cool,
I know,
actually."
she's major Final Girl energy with that
Totally.
bracelet, right? She's like a
Fucking
little
belt.
edgy, again, a little city, like, "I'm going to
Yes.
InStyle, I need to have my own, like, cool, quirky,
Instagram
edgy fashion," right?
and
Yeah,
Style magazine.
yeah. Oh god, I love it all. I have to say,
Yeah.
I've always thought this. I've seen this a few times. It had been a long time, at least 10 years or more, but, I've seen it a handful of times.
Mhm.
This movie is so much fun. It truly
It's
is
so much
it
fun.
gives you everything you need in a horror movie. Some
Yes.
people might say it's dumb, it's smart, the characters are dumb. Yeah, we're not watching like the cast of Scream. We're not watching like the Ring characters. Like we're
Yeah.
kind of just watching like a group. It's very similar to Wrong Turn, like
Yeah.
just normal. Even Wrong Turn, I think they're a little more likable.
Yeah.
But like they're just friends, like going to a football game,
Yeah, and I
right?
mean, there's nothing that they do that's particularly like, as much as Jared Padalecki, as much as I rag on him for being, like, breaking and entering, like,
Right.
everywhere in the
Mhm.
town, I wasn't gonna save them by not breaking and entering, like, they're
Right.
gonna die by
Yeah.
showing up in the town, by
Yeah.
being in these people's vicinity, like, you're gonna die. It wasn't cool of Chad Michael Murray to break the guy's freaking, headlight. That was
It's
out of
so
nowhere.
stupid. The evil
But I do
twin.
think the guy was probably gonna do
Yeah.
some shit. Like, I
I
think
think
he
no
was like,
matter what.
"Oh, hey, I'm gonna
And
fuck
it's
some
so
people up."
funny. It's so funny. I had totally forgotten this. I didn't realize actually that House of Wax is actually kind of like a special movie to me because I totally stole some things from this movie for sticks. Like headlight, I was about to say headshot, headlight like shining
Yeah.
on a group, like totally
And
disrupting
not
their
being
hang.
able to see
Yeah, and like,
who's
hello,
there.
what's up?
Yeah.
You know, and like then he goes away. Also just like backwoods, like for the feature, like a lot of roadkill stuff. Like I
Yes.
completely filed away that like, oh no, House of Wax was very inspiring for me.
Very
So
much so.
that's why also like I'm talking about this movie because I love it. I think it is great. Yes, there's some things to make fun of, but I think it gives you everything you need. And going back to what you're saying, how it's like, yeah, you're gonna die. It's not a movie that's gonna surprise us like some that it's like, oh shit, she died or he died. You
No,
know these people are gonna die.
they're
Maybe
all
the
gonna
biggest
die.
surprise is Jared Padalecki because he could have lived, you know, like we knew him from
Except they
Gilmore Girls
marketed it with him in the thing. So I was
in
like,
the
"Oh,
chair.
to me, they burned his death and they burned Paris's death."
Yeah, and there's
But
only
his
a
death
couple
was so
more.
bad that
Yes.
I was and so prolonged that I was
Yes.
like, and they did actually take a long time to get to it, like you were saying earlier,
Yeah.
like, they do get so I was
Yeah.
like, I was still pleased with his death.
Yes.
They're all wax, everyone. Help! Please, somebody!
Would this be remembered more fondly if they didn't have the stunt casting of Paris Hilton? And I love Paris. I say that thinking that she's very appropriate for the movie and thinking that she was done dirty by a lot of us and like totally being in favor of her.
Yeah.
I think I posit that if she wasn't in it, I think there was so much talk around it being her and so much idea around that, not making it a serious, even horror movie in the way that it was supposed to still be a fun blockbuster, you know, like not in the way it almost took away from it being a movie, the dialogue around it. And I feel like it's remembered probably as being cheesier than it actually is. I think it
Right.
actually is like a regular I think it's better than Wrong Turn.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think it's more creative. Wrong
yes.
Turn, nothing wrong with it. Huh.
Yeah,
But
love it.
but
Nothing
it's
wrong turn with that.
yeah, House of Wax has again just like more interesting set pieces, more interesting
Yes.
twists and turns. There's a little bit more
The
thought
sets are
here.
incredible. The
Oh,
sets
yeah, and
are
I love at the end as everything's burning, our siblings, the ones that, you know, are good,
Mhm.
you know, are breaking through the A and wax and it's sliding.
Yes.
Like it's just very clever,
When he
creative.
bisects his own, I was like,
Yes, which I kind of
very silly, but I
it's a
love
little
it.
silly,
It's
but I
like,
do love it at the same time. I think that's one thing I maybe would have changed where I love that he bisects them, right? But I think it would have been better if it was accidental. If he's like, instead of a big swipe down the door, you
that
know,
he's just
or
hacking
maybe
and
he's
in so
hacking it and
doing
doesn't
it.
realize like, oh God, I just hacked them apart. Like, you know, because I think she slides the babies up against the door. I don't think they were
Yeah,
always there, right?
they weren't, so he
Right?
wouldn't have known they were there.
Right, or
Yeah.
yeah, or something, like, a little bit of a moment of like,
Of
"Oh my
what have I
god,
done?
what have I done?" Like, and that would have been
My
really heavy because it's like,
brother.
wait, do you wish you actually were still
Do
connected?
you yeah, is
Like,
it
where
what do
maybe you
you
wouldn't hate how you look? You actually would have been alright looking like that? That would
yeah, being together with him.
so, yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful shot, but I'm just kinda like, I don't know, was that the way to do the bisecting, or is it maybe
Yeah.
some other angle or some other way?
I also love it is it her or Chad that grabs his mask ultimately and pulls?
It's
And then it's
Chad.
and then he's, like, horrified to see and I
Yes.
was like, "How much different does it really look?"
I know. It's you know,
I was
but
like, I was horrified to behold it
I
to
was
begin
horrified.
with.
Yes, yeah,
Like,
no matter
I
what,
would just
that
be like, "Oh, it's not like the Phantom where you're like, what could possibly be under there?" You're like,
right,
"Well, this is a horrible melted thing
yeah,
because you're wearing a horrible melted thing on top
right,
of it."
right, yeah, but, it is funny how he does that, and I think he says, like,
Yeah,
"Shit,"
he was like,
like
"Shit," and I was like, "What? What did you think it was gonna be? Christy Brinkley? You
yeah,
thought it was a beautiful face was gonna be
right,
under there?"
yeah, under this freaky ass wax
Yeah,
face,
no,
right?
come on, come
Yeah.
on. It's
You
gonna be bad.
you've seen the headlines, you've seen that this
Yeah,
weird doctor bisected his
it's not gonna be
Siamese twins,
eyes. Yeah,
right?
they're not gonna
But
see.
I do love like, there are just some fun nods to other scary movies, and I feel like maybe it was intentional, I don't know, but I do love that when he takes that mask off and reacts, it's a little bit of original Halloween when Jamie Lee's able to kind of get the
taking it
mask,
off.
we see he's got a bit of a
But I like that too in Halloween because it's very. I mean, I like the moment. The moment is very horror movie. The
Oh
pulling
yeah.
off and the.
Uh-huh.
But it was funny to me because I was like, it was so like Halloween. The mask is so nondescript, and then he has an injury, but he's also kind of nondescript. So it's like he's just this guy. Like, why is this happening? But yeah, this one, and it is also funny because they used computer graphic imaging for his face wound. They didn't use practicals.
Okay.
And
You can sort of tell. Yeah. Mhm.
Because it looks like a made-for-TV movie at that part, and
Yeah.
every other thing looked like a
It doesn't look bad, but it just kind of looked like something was hovering on the
Yeah,
actor's
it looked
face.
like
You know what I mean?
it looked like 2005 computer graphics,
Yeah.
and upon seeing how incredibly in-depth, like, everything else looked so good because it
Yes.
was real.
Yeah. Oh,
Like, it
yeah. Wow.
really did this
And I
wow.
love, once he bisects the wax kid, the babies, I do love that very creepy,
Pulling
very
through.
Leatherfacey shot of pulling through as the door's melting, as his face is
Face
kind of
is
melting.
melting.
That's a
Mhm.
creepy image. There's some really good imagery that it's like, oh yeah. But I also love going back to the mask. Yeah, so Chad rips it off, and I do love that it doesn't seem intentional at all. She pulls the knife out of Nick's leg to
Yeah.
use it on Vincent, and as she is about to stab him, she's like really stomps on the mask on the floor. And I
Mhm.
do kind of love that it's like, yeah, bitch, you're not gonna make it.
Fuck this.
Right?
Yeah,
I think that's a
like,
very just
fuck this
interesting
mask, fuck this wax.
Fuck this wax.
Like, yes.
Yes.
They're out there. You gotta be careful.
I am being careful.
We haven't even really talked about Paris's big death scene.
Which is great.
Real
yeah.
quick, I'll just say it's great. I love it. God, again, it's a little sexual when you think about it, especially the blowjob joke. It's like she still gets like a spear
It's
to the
still
head.
a spear to the head. It's
You know,
still, and
but-
like anytime you mess with someone's face in death, it's also like a thing. Like there's something very Black Dahlia, very like destroy this beautiful woman. How dare she
Oh,
be
yes.
beautiful and enjoy sex?
You're
Like,
right. Oh
we
yeah,
must
and like
murder her.
we forgot also there's two heel moments that are like
I was
really
gonna say we were,
gnarly.
and also in Hostel, I was like, I even
Ooh.
wrote down, I was like, we were having an Achilles tendon moment.
Yes, you're so right.
And both of them she and Jared both get a hot
Ooh,
Achilles.
Jared gets it really bad. She
He-
gets like an
She
awkward
gets
kind of,
a stab that
which is
hurts.
terrible, but he
He
gets the
a very
scissors.
distinct scissors, and then later on he stitches it
scary.
up
Oh,
because
yeah,
he's
and
like,
oh,
the
and then
guy.
he's stitching up his like
Oh
pep
my god, and he's
slash.
screaming because he's
Yeah.
old. I also wrote that as one of the scary. And this is very frightening whenever this comes up in like when because he's has the tonic that's making him not be able to move,
Right.
the paralytic.
Oh, scary.
And
The needle.
it
Oh, yeah.
still hurts so much that he gets his hand. The only thing
Oh.
he could do is try to push the hand away, and it's one flop.
And
the guy
again, great acting,
the
because
hand.
that really made it seem like Jared really
Uh-huh.
was like weighed down with drugs. Yeah.
He was great the whole time. He kept his mouth shut and was shrieking. He did such a good job in that. And that move there in the most recent Dune, there's one too where Chani is like they drain the water from people, and the guy she's talking to like Paul and is like blah blah blah, and the guy does one, and she just really calmly puts his hand down. I'm like,
Spooky.
oh my god, yeah,
Mhm.
that level of no, you're dying.
I thought Paris's chase was longer. It's actually not that long, but it's still a good amount of time. But I love
She
that it
hides
starts in
in
the
2 cars, which makes me
Yes.
always feel like it's longer because I'm like, oh, she's in
Yes.
the car, he's gonna get
You're
her. And I'm
right.
like, oh no, he's not.
Right.
But it
She
is
does.
actually shorter.
She goes from car to car, which is a little weird. But
Just get out of there.
I guess the second car she's not in. She's like hiding behind it,
Behind
and then the
it, yeah.
glass and everything,
And then he
which is
looks up, yeah.
right.
And
But
that's right, and that was the joke of ours was that she's hiding in a convertible.
in the convertible,
And
yeah.
she's just like, go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't look here.
Yes,
and
I
this
remember the
killer's
shot.
walking around the
I
convertible.
forget who was the killer. I forget who was actually
Someone
like
wearing a mask.
someone
too,
wearing. I don't even know what they were wearing, but they were walking behind the convertible, and yeah, you're just there like go away, like
stop it.
you're like shaking.
Away. Yeah.
In broad daylight.
And I have the dog. I have the
Yes.
little
Yeah, your little
chihuahua.
yes.
I'm like,
Uh-huh.
shh.
Oh, we were so funny. We are
We
so funny. Oh
were.
my God.
I know.
I just have to say that, everybody. God, we were
really
so
were.
clever. Man, if we had started that a little later, we would be YouTube and TikTok
It's
stars.
100%. 100%.
And
Like,
it's
you
crazy
don't
that we didn't,
understand.
because by the
We would have
time
had a Vine house.
What's going on?
And that's why, everybody, you need to be careful going to football games with your friends. You never know what wrong turn you might make. Just to give our girl Paris Hilton a little more love, yes, she won a Razzie for this movie, but she also won a Teen Choice Award for this and was nominated for an MTV Movie Award, so it's all subjective. Am I right? Can I get an amen? Thanks, everybody, for listening to or watching this episode, and thank you to my longtime friend and collaborator, my love, my own Paris, Kit Sheehan, for another hot and steamy chat on the pod. Thank you also to Ash, Shalina, and Kadu for your great cameos. You all slayed. Pray, slay, display. Please spread the word about this show. Leave a rating on your app that you're using, a thumbs up on YouTube, and follow me on Instagram at Release Date Rewind to see more footage from this conversation and from this fun movie. Thanks Straw Hut Media, You Run Podcast Network, Kyle Motzinger, and the Portland Media Center in Maine.
That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot.